Good morning and g'day, mate. Welcome to Dyson Sphere with me, Jetty. Yes, welcome to Dyson Sphere. Yes, this is episode 1 of a new series. Yes, you might notice beside me I happen to have white science on a belt. Icarus, I'd be smacking the side of my head too. So let me explain a couple of things to you guys. So this is a brand new series, as I just said. It's brand new series, as in the rules of the series have changed. We've actually just completed the game. At like 33 hours in, we completed the game. We, if we bring up note P for production, we got mission accomplished. At the same time, we were going for a bit of an achievement run. So we scored a decent amount of achievements overall. But we got mission accomplished, we got Memento, we got Solar Cell, no thank you. We got Environmentalist, we got the Alien Mineral Protection Act. We got a lot of achievements knocked off. But, there was a couple of achievements that I didn't worry about, and there's going to be more achievements that now we just ignore. Okay, I really don't care about the achievements. In fact, I'm probably going to go through and actually, let's do it right now. Let's settings, clear all achievement data. Okay, great, done. Let's go. Brand new clear set of achievements, enable detection. Cool, we're good to go, and we'll go forth from here. Because, like I said, the rules have changed. We're no longer going for achievements. We're now going for, well, a mega base. I want to go for a mega base. Proliferation has definitely changed things up. I have built mega bases previously. Very first one I did 30 rockets per second, which was a lot, trust me. Along with like 120,000 sales per second. It was ridiculous. My second one, we went for science. We went for 60 science per second. Again, it was ridiculous. But I'm wondering how far we can push it with proliferation. The other change for this series, couple of them, is first off, although Icarus Prime has served us well, he was sort of dated from the 1980s a little bit, so we're going to just throw a new design on him like so. And, you know, he looks a little bit smarter, a little bit more modern. Yep. At the same time, the other things I want to do with this particular series is I have been sharing up until now a whole bunch of early game blueprints. I want to go and build some more early game blueprints. But at the same time, I want to do a whole lot of late game blueprints, and that's really where I excel. I really excel at making the very, very late game blueprints, and we're going to be doing a whole lot of those. I'm going to be sharing those along the way. So, before we get too far into it, I want to show you guys around the home system, because this is the home planet that I haven't been allowed to use foundations on, so we've sort of had to cram things in wherever we could fit them and work around the terrain, which has been a giant pain in the butt. Don't get me wrong. And two other things, very important things. One, this is a slightly modified series. In saying that, it's modified like quality of life mods. So if we come over here, we can see we are on the dark side of the planet. Yes, Icarus does have a tiny little light that helps you guys see, but if I zoom out for a big build, it gets a little bit, hard to see what's going on, especially on a mobile device. So I fixed that with, I upgraded his spotlight. It's a little bit bigger now. It's a little bit more cleaner. It helps you guys see what's going on. At the same time, I have my little drones that build things. I've painted them extra, and when Icarus is idle, they run off and clean up the junk on the ground, which is great because it means it's less stuff for Icarus to trip over. They're really the two quality of life mods I have. I do have a third one that goes in with the blueprinting. I think the biggest impact to you guys... Where's a good spot? There's a good spot. Biggest impact to you guys is the deconstruction tool actually has a special extra button which we can draw a box like this, and then everything in the box gets demolished there and then. That's pretty much all the mods. So, with that out of the way, this is our homeworld. Our homeworld that it sort of works. It sort of works. It sort of does okay. We have our labs. We have our purple science. We have oil, which is broken. Of course it's broken. Why are you broken? You need to have input on so you can drain. Because I wish to drain all the many tanks we have and empty them out. Output. If your input is off, your input is on. you can flow liquid through. Okay, cool. All right, so that should fix that problem. Actually, we're going to downgrade you to a Mark 1 belt. And if I allow you to have input... No, it's going to come back to haunt us at some stage, but we have our oil build. Our oil build that does 30 refined oil per second, plus pumps out hydrogen. Hydrogen obviously gets siphoned off to do red science, plus there's a few other things. Then we have our mall, okay? Our wonderful, glorious mall. Again, a blueprint of this is available. You will find the blueprint on my Discord server, which is linked, well, on your screen right now. Also, in the description, if you want to pick it up, pull it up after the episode's done. But here you'll find my mall. It's only the early version, okay? So this is really the early game mall. It's sort of everything you need before you get warpers. And now that we have, you know, finished, in air quotes, the game, I can now worry a whole lot less about resources. And we're going to just, you know, give it a quick facelift. I might not have all the belts required, but, belts? What do I run out? Belts or sorters? Belts. I may not have all the belts required, but you know, it's a start. We'll go to 1 upgrade, please. Yeah. And if we can't go all the way to blue belt, we'll at least go to green belt. It helps if I have green belt on me. Cool. Well, that'll help. That'll help. That'll get everything fed a little bit faster. It was toned down for the early game, but, you know, as we're moving on and moving up in the world, it needs to speed up a little bit. So, what makes this blueprint unique is it's set down without any of the towers around the outside, and then you can plug in the towers however you wish. And I think that's what one of the things that makes it really unique. And all the belts are actually marked with their outputs, and then you can just set them up to go to a tower, and you can say how much of what do you want in each tower. You know, in this case, this one happens to have power poles, actually. Decent power poles. Happens to have, you know, fluid tanks and wireless power towers and mining machines and smelters and, you know, gears and iron, because they happen to pass through this tower, even though that belt is nowhere near fast enough. Oh, let's try that. Yeah, it has everything, okay? Everything is available, and because they go into intergalactic towers, they're available in other worlds. All these towers actually need is warpers, which, you know, conveniently, somebody has a tower right here that we're going to set up warpers to come in future, and just remote demand that and local storage that. We're just going to loop the warpers from tower to tower to tower. Also, just importantly, it has a recycling tower. So this brings in 5 materials, being Sorters Mark 1, Sorters Mark 2, Belt Mark 1, Belt Mark 2, also Assembler Mark 1 and Assembler Mark 2. Actually, that slot was reserved for assemblers. It's this slot. Yeah, this slot that I've shoved oil in for the moment. It's meant to have warpers. We're going to run warpers throughout the towers, but this has auto-recycling. So I can go to another planet, upgrade all the machines, put them in a tower, and then these ships from this end will come and get those materials, bring them back here and auto-upgrade them to, you know, Tier 1 to Tier 2 to Tier 3. That's the plan, at least. That's how it works. But this is half the mall. The other half of the mall we'll get to shortly, but this is probably, this and the oil are really the main structures left on this planet. Of course, yes, we do have red and blue science, plus we have yellow science up here that's a little bit struggling, but you know, it's pretending to have a good day. Oh, and we have purple here as well. Purple science is also made on this planet. But basically this planet we've mined dry, okay? Because we didn't expand too far, I wanted to keep things sort of self-contained and mostly the home system. We are almost out of iron, we're almost out of copper. In fact, what's a prime example? That's a prime example. Just below our mall, we have an iron patch that's down to 15,000, 16,000 iron left. We are smelting whatever's left and converting that into gears, because the gear belt actually ran dry entirely. And it's actually being fed by a tower side-loaded, so, you know, this stuff gets preference and this stuff just burns off whatever's left. And yes, we're literally just, you know, finding out the last of the planet as far as iron and copper are concerned. Stone is one of those resources you have a lot of and you never know what to do with it. Coal, we do have one giant proliferator build, 2 giant proliferator builds, and a third slightly less neat proliferator build over here, which is basically chewing through the coal as fast as possible. As I said, along with the oil build, pretty much sums up how the home planet is. It's really got narrowed down to a few things. There are other production lines here that haven't been moved off-world yet, but we're hoping to correct that in the not-too-distant future. You get to have my trees and my leaves, and with that out of the way, we're going to make a jump out to the Galactic plane. One, to stop and look at the wonderful intergalactic advertising billboard that we have slapped up, okay? And that is very, very important. That is the subscribe to JD reminder, because we're halfway into the episode, roughly. So I figure a good call to action of reminding you, if this is the first episode, and you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, you want to continue with the rest of the tour, you want to see how the Mega Base goes, by all means subscribe to JD. If you'd like to see how we got here, then there is a link in the description, and probably also up the top right-hand corner right about now. I think I can link playlists. I'm pretty sure I can. A link to the playlist for the first half of the series, where we got from where we started to, you know, launching a rocket. But with that out of the way, we're going to go to the Home 2 system, which is conveniently a tightly locked planet inside the Home system, which I know is super rare, but I literally picked the seed out of the press the button random generator a few times and go. As you can see, this planet also has the same issue with mining out the iron. This was not our planet with silicon. So this planet had no silicon. It did have a lot of titanium. We're again mining that out fairly quickly. Copper has become our primary source for copper to feed the homeworld. Doesn't have any coal because we mined that out too. Yeah, we're going through resources. Anyway, we're going to head across to the Home 2 system. Another couple of things I should mention is we have been off-world a little bit, not a whole lot. We have been to 2 systems that I'm not going to really cover this episode. We have been to, I made it here without warpers, because we also went for the achievement to make it to another solar system without warpers, which was 42 minutes worth of, or 45 minutes worth of flight time of flying their slow boat style without warp tech, which was a whole lot of fun. It was fine, actually. I went and edited another video whilst we waited. Well, whilst I waited to slow boat my way across the galaxy. Definitely an achievement. I'm glad I've got. Definitely an achievement I do not want to try and get again. And when we land, we will talk about this one in a second. And the other one we have is off in the distance. We have Paymo. Paymo is a Patreon supporter. So that's another thing I'm doing with this series. I'm actually naming stars after my Patreons, and also planets. Like if we go over to I Made It Here Without Warpers, we have Philip Simmons, who is a YouTube member. So I'm naming planets after YouTube members, stars after patrons. On top of that, I am trying to put a sphere around every single star. Now, in theory, Dyson Sphere has fixed its lag issues caused by filling in spheres. It used to be a massive issue. In theory, it's been fixed for this particular update. We will see. But yes, if you wish to support the channel, you can. Links are always down in the description. One of the things we're really striving for this year is I'm trying to make the channel ad-free 2022. It's a tag, it's a slogan. And to do that, I'm asking, look, if you guys can afford the money, you know, consider supporting the channel. Becoming a member is $1 a month. You know, it's as cheap as, well, 12 months of JD is cheaper than 1 month worth of Netflix, if you look at it that way. So, you know, consider supporting if you'd like to support. I'd very, very much appreciate you have... Oh. Let's do that. That'll probably fix some problems. Yeah, so consider supporting the channel. Very, very much appreciated. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, with that out of the way. This planet is... It's a tightly locked planet, okay? And also it's an arid desert, which means I had all the area to play with apart from where ore was located. So anywhere there was ore, I couldn't build, but it meant a lot of the builds went on this particular planet because I had room to build and room to blueprint. So we have, you know, things like our organic crystal, which is, well, there ain't enough of it, that's for sure. Is it just, it's just not fast enough? It's just not fast enough. We just need to double it. Okay. We have stuff like our organic crystal. We have the stupid electric magnetic turbines. We've got 3 builds right there, back to back to back. We have some giant smelter arrays. So we have 4 rows of iron. That is 240 iron per second. And then we have 4 rows worth of steel, which is, I don't know, not a lot because steel takes that much longer to craft. 240, 40? 50, whatever it happens to be. And then we have the same for brick. We also have supermagnetic rings. We have a little bit of power up here because it is an entirely locked planet. The most important thing actually is probably this up here, which is the other half of my mall. So we have the original mall, which is like everything up to... everything you're going to need definitely prior to warp tech. Okay, this is everything you probably need after warp tech, with some exceptions like sprayers. You might want to get the sprayers before you get the warp tech, probably. So this is the other half of like the mall. You know, normally I build it on the home world, except I couldn't build it on the home world because I couldn't foundation it to get the damn achievement. So here we have the other half, like I said. So it builds, you know, sprayers. What are those called? The mini fusion power plants. The plane smelter eventually. Artificial stars. We also have the thermal power plants. We have things like ray receivers, solar panels, because I couldn't flip them in the original build, the brand new pilers. We also have rocket silos. We have the miniature particle collider. We have things like, you know, rail ejectors, which you may notice with every one of these. First off, a couple of things. All the belts are marked, okay? So when you put down this blueprint, if you choose to grab the blueprint, it's available on Discord, like I said. All the belts are marked, so you can see exactly what comes out of the tower because they'll all be preset for you. You can't see what goes into the tower until something actually goes into the tower. So again, the belts have been marked for you because you may not have the recipe when you put down the blueprint because you haven't unlocked the tech. So we have the recipes marked on the belts for you, so you can see what things are easily. On top of that, if we grab 50 is too many. Let's just grab 30. 30 sounds like heaps. We can see that there is a storage box here that will empty, that will refill that buffer fairly quickly. What else do we have around here? We have the advanced mining machine, which unfortunately don't have optical grading crystal yet. It's only what the bots have found by picking up trees and rocks. We also have stuff like pumps. Pumps you don't need to go off-world, and you get warpers because you don't get a sulfuric acid bath planet in your home world. We also have... I probably want some of those as well. I don't know whether... No, we won't have time. We'll put that back. We'll do that later. But what I want to do whilst we're here is definitely... I can't afford to upgrade the belts, but I can definitely afford to upgrade all the assemblers, make everything run a little bit faster up here. That, and because we're about to expand our our Dyson Sphere, I'm going to be a little bit better off for power because that's also been a crunch for us. As you can see, this one's already set up as well with warpers. We have a lovely loop of warpers. Hang on, let's see whether I can get all these belts. All the belts. Found extra belts. There we go. Extra belts. Okay, I think that's all the belts. We have... I'm going to find out where the start of the blueprint is. The start of the blueprint is around here where we have solar panels. Solar panels bring in warpers, they put them on a belt, and they drag that belt from tower to tower to tower all the way around the outside before they bring them to the inside and actually run them through the internal 4 towers as well. Which means that every single tower has warpers, which means if you go off-world and you're like, hey, I forgot that I needed EM rail ejectors where I am. You can put down a tower, set up a request. The ship will actually leave from this end and fly out to you and bring you rail ejectors, belts, solar panels, whatever it is that you happen to forget. So it's like in a Galactic UPS. It's a little bit slow, like UPS, but it's better than nothing. So with that out of the way, as for the rest of this planet, we have a couple of builds on here. Like we have our Mega Deuterium build, which chews so much power. So much power when we turn this thing on. Let's not turn it on. Oh, it's running. It's running right now. Yeah, it chews a lot of power when it turns on because we've stacked all the hydrogen before running it out into the machines and then turn it into deuterium, so it consequently chews like 1.2 megawatts all by itself. Megawatts, gigawatts, whatever. It uses a lot of power. We have... Where are we? Let's go this direction. We have our green science. Green science got built on this planet. Mainly because we had to import some items, which we'll cover shortly, along with everything we need to build rockets. So we have our deuterium fuel rods. We've got 5,000 of those stored up. We also have, that one is nanotubes. Whole bunch of nanotubes. Nanotubes are stored here as well. We are, in just about every case, we're proliferating everything every step along the way. We've got solar sails here, not to actually launch solar sails because we needed that achievement. We had to make solar sails to make rockets. Rockets are also up here, which should now be backed up. Yeah, we're starting to pile up with rockets because our Dyson Sphere is finished. Of course, we have quantum chips. Quantum chips there, along with a quantum chip build here to make sure we have all the quantum chips in the world. But what I actually want to do is I want to set up, just quickly, we're just going to make a quick pit stop and set up a solar sail EM rail ejector build. I just want to start firing. Because this is a tidally locked planet, I'm going to mention that a few times, we need to definitely set up a orbit, add an orbit. We're going to set the orbit to be as small as possible. Actually, no, let's go out to map view. And have a look at our structure so far. So we can see we're on a tidally locked planet, which means the sunny side is always facing the sun. Great. You might also notice that it is outside the sphere. Okay, so we want to make somewhere to launch sails that's inside the sphere. That way we can always see it. If we made it larger, then there'd be times when it'd be the entry point for the insertion point for the sails would end up being behind the planet, which is a bad idea. So we want it tiny, so it's always in front of us. On top of that, that's pretty much it. We do need to launch, for this particular shell, a cool 78,000 sails. So we're going to have a nice little orbit. We are going to set this tiny. Same time, I'm going to set this to a 90-degree offset. And the reason I'm going to do that is if it's going around the planet, around the sun this way, and where, say, where the 2 is, we can see that at all times. Even if we orbit around here, we should be able to still see that. There is occasionally times the insertion point is, let's assume that we're where the 2 is. If the insertion point is here, it'll be behind the sun, so we can't see it. But we're gonna have that, like, even if I move that around, like, eventually, no matter what, there's going to be a point where it's behind the sun. So our best bet is to set this 90 degrees up, down, and doesn't matter what we set this to. We're just going to accept that most of the time we can launch up, and then occasionally it'll be behind the sun. Even if we set it to be flat, it'd occasionally be behind the sun, but I like a ring going this way, and I'm also fairly lazy, so we're just going to have just one insertion point. But that is going to be our insertion point. We are going to grab, I really only got 29 of them. That seems like I got ripped off. Okay, pop one of you there. We're going to put on a nice, slightly too far away. Can I have that back? Cool, that's another research done. Up there, please. Can I... You... There. You... Orbit number 2. Lack of solar cell, lack of power. Cool. But as long as you're not complaining you can't hit the target, call that a win. We need to come this way. Out of building range. Well... There we go. Click to build. Okay. So that'll get those done. Bots will get that done super quick. We want to go power, 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 more power, touch of power, a little bit more power, and oh please can I fit one more on? I can, beautiful. And how many do I have left over? 15. Okay, that's fine. We should be able to take you down. then take you to here. Out of building range. Stop being out of building range. Come on, I just need just a little bit more reach to the left this time. Can I? No. How far down do I have to build you? There. Remove. Thanks. Okay, that should get us to there. If we just bring out a belt, also carrying solar cells from there to there to there, we should then... That sort of really wants to bend at a stupid angle. Stupidity be gone. Oh, you're over the line. Shit. Maybe we okay? 14 out of building range. Alright. Let's stop there. And then continue our build along. I've still got one left over. Fine. You can sit out here and be the odd duckling. Okay. We want power. 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 I just want these things launching. We're going to ignore the fact that all the sorters are leaning slightly to the right. Okay, that's at least got us launching. Okay, so this is our second planet, our tightly locked planet, which, as you can see, is launching perfectly. The cells are all getting absorbed as fast as possible. Next planet I want to visit to just complete out our tour is our Grady Walkup. Grady Walkup is a lava planet. This is the actual, pretty much the only planet left with resources. In saying that, this had all our silicon. We actually mined it dry because we got hit by the worst gods of RNG and we started with no silicon basically to start with. I think we had 300,000. Maybe 500,000. It was not a lot. And silicon is fine for the early game, but you know, you sort of need it later game. Oh wow. Solar cells reasonably low. At this moment, thousands of solar cells surround the home system, creating a beautiful landscape. Dyson swarm so bright. I don't know about that Dyson swarm thing. It pretty much all getting absorbed instantly. But okay, game. You know way better than we do. Alright, so with us heading out to the Grady Walkup system, we're just gonna warp it. We're just gonna warp it. This is gonna be the last planet we're gonna be touring for this particular introductory video. And where's the interesting part on this planet? It is follow that coal line. The coal line goes to the interesting part, which is mined out there, and keep going, keep going, keep going. Brings us to here, where it's not quite mined out here, but it's getting close. As I said, you know, that whole day-night thing, we can fix that very quickly with Mr. Icarus's super bright mode. Can I get you... Oh, you are prioritized to go that way first. Okay, so we have, well, this planet is so far set up to do... Whoa. Dyson Sphere cell. You build a Dyson Sphere cell. At this point, as you look at the Dyson Sphere built upon home, it feels like, oh, your efforts paid off. It gradually become more and more complete. Oh, okay. So we got one of the first large cells done. That one I actually want to see. Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. I don't see a single complete cell. No. But we can see that everybody is definitely absorbing some cells as fast as they can. Wow. Okay. Alright, so as I was saying, this one is basically where we're mining everything currently. So we have really lent into, you know, feed many belts into many towers to get our iron ore. At the same time, we haven't really tapped copper too much on this planet, but like I said, this was where we had all our silicon. As you can see, our silicon mines are doing awesome. Can I give you stone? Thank you. Our silicon mines are doing awesome. They've been wonderful. They've been super helpful. They got mined out. And we have, even when the bots go off and find some rocks, I throw in the magic rock box, which then brings them down there and converts them to silicon with the worst recipe in the world. But rocks are free. Why for you? Oh, kimberlite ore. No, titanium alloy? Okay. Little bit of belt contamination. It's fine. Alright. So yes, this is now importing silicon from halfway across the galaxy, and this is where our processors are being made. So we have this processor build, plus we have this super duper processor build over here, but as you can see, pretty much as fast as I make them, they disappear. So, you know, there's definitely some things that need to be optimized on this, on the planets. This also, being a lava world, happens to be a bit of a power hub. The geothermal power plants, they're not super great, honestly. They sound good on paper, and don't get me wrong, like free, unlimited, renewable energy, not bad. The catch is that plugged in the grid? Yes, it is plugged in the grid. Excellent. The catch is they're fairly resource heavy and intensive to get built, and they take a while to find all the lava patches and put them in. So yeah, but look, on the bright side, we do have close to 1 gigawatt worth of free power on this one from pretty much geothermal with a little bit of wind thrown in. Literally used as power poles because, you know, the fact that you can grab a wind turbine and drag and drop it, and, you know, you can run together a string of power poles to spread from one side of the map to the other. Such a brilliant feature. If I could do it with normal power poles, I'd use more normal power poles. But this is our inner planet, our first planet. It is also, if I can find my norths and souths, that's the belt. No, there we go, there we go. We're just going to follow the green belt of proliferation, go faster juice back, and haha! This is also where we happen to have our ray receivers. Not on the tightly locked planet, because that is the wrong place to put them. Because we actually have this planet, and I think that's a perfect example with all the sails going past. Because this planet is inside the sphere, let's flip it up to north. Because this planet is inside the sphere, it means even if we turn off Super Nightlight, we can see that, well, we're in the middle of the night and you guys have 100% continuous receiving, because at the moment you guys are getting the power off the Dyson Sphere. Not off the sun directly, but from the Dyson Sphere. So this planet happens to be where we put all our ray receivers, which are now pulling down a nice amount of critical photons, and we're obviously converting all the critical photons into any manner for science for now. But I'm hoping as we can scale up the power, we can swap that across and we can start actually converting it across to, you know, any manner rods. We've almost finished the... No, we haven't even close to finish the research. Okay, there's a little bit of research to go. But that is pretty much the tour of the base. Like I said, the map so far. We do have one planet out in the far distance. Only 2 planets, actually. We have... we made it here without warpers. We have the Philip Simmons base, which is literally doing nothing but processing a whole bunch of silicon ore into silicon, high purity silicon ingots and shipping it back. And in the Paymo system, we have Matthew McGulligan. Matthew. We have Matthew system, which is pumping up sulfuric acid. They are the only 2 extraterrestrial planets we've messed with. But for this particular series, like I said, we're going to be going for a mega base. I fully expect we'll be doing a lot of science and a lot of rockets. Probably science first. I think I want to boost my science before we start boosting our rocket production. On top of that, like I said, I want to have a lot of high quality blueprints I can share with you guys, and also hopefully I can use with some further playthroughs. Last thing I really want to do with this series to make it different from what I've done previously is I want to play with the Proliferator. You might notice that we have, if I can find it, that green belt that I followed through the map, this one, which is just it's a giant Proliferator belt. It goes all the way across the map, proliferating everything, because that's something I've been really doing in this series. I have been proliferating everything I possibly can, which is now putting importance on coal, hence why we're mining out coal on the planets left, right, center. But we've only been playing with the level 2 stuff so far. I want to change it up very shortly. I want to start making level 3. I'm going to start running Proliferator level 3 through everything, Main reason we haven't done it so far is that energy consumption 150% looks scary. Very, very scary with our Dyson Sphere up and running. But now we've finished the game, we've unlocked the ability, we can start launching sales, we can start actually doing Dyson Spheres. But with all that said, this is what I'm going to call it for the very first episode. I hope you guys are given enough of a tour that you will sort of understand where we are and where we're going. I have had some questions about how I keep track of things going bigger and better and larger megabase, and I do hope I can answer those for you as we progress. Oh, there we go. We do have some cells up and running. That's nice. That's pretty. But yeah, I'm going to call it here. As always, I'll remind you guys to, you know, sub to JD. Sub to JD if you haven't already. And with all that said, I'll see you guys in the very next episode of Dyson Sphere with, of course, me and Mr. Icarus Prime. Alright, that's it. We're out. Thanks for watching. Bye.